Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cab Crew Wednesday. This is Tom, and I'll be your host tonight. Hope everybody's doing well. And let's say hello to everybody in the chat right now. And Mike from Deep Run, Mike is here. Welcome, Mike. How you doing? Glad to see you here. Then I see Bob from PKW Model Works is here. Welcome, Bob. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping in. And then Ronald Renew is here. Welcome, Ronald. Hope you're doing well too. Dwight Curley's here. Welcome, Dwight. Hope you're doing well. I didn't see no Workbench Wednesday from you today. Hope you're doing okay. And let's see who else. And then John from Schuylkill River Valley. Hey, John, welcome. Almost time for the tax season. Hope you're doing well. And then JD from Grandpa Rails is here. Welcome, JD. Hope you're doing well. Everybody can hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. And Dan from DMRJ is here. Welcome. Glad to see you in here. 5x5. Sounds good, John. Thanks. So, how's everybody out there? Hope everybody's doing well. And let's see if anybody else came in the chat now. Dan was the last guy in here, so that's good. So it's today was the first day it went over freezing here in New Jersey. It was 30 in the high 30s today, but now it's back down to the 20s right now. And when the sun goes down, it gets colder like usual. So it's been freezing, and it's been cold as heck around everywhere, I guess. So, and so that's the weather report for today. And so as I was talking in my last couple of streams, I was telling you that I was changing all my KD couplers, and I finally got them all done. And now I'm testing the trains and just working out some of the kinks on that. We'll get into that in a little while. And I had some backdrop buildings on my layout that I had no windows in them. And yeah, that's right. And so I saw a video of a guy and he used some wax paper. And I said, okay, let's try that. And what a difference that makes. So I cut out the wax paper and put it in the building. And then I use this stuff. It's Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and this sprinkled this around the windows, and then this pushed down the wax paper, and use my finger and just, rubbed it in a little bit, and it stuck really good. So this stuff works really well. And this was only $3.99 for an 8-ounce bottle of this tacky glue. So you can use it for other things too, but that's what he used in his video. So, and then when I turned on the lights, it looked really good. Now all I got to do is it's bleeding out in the back. I got to put something around there so the light doesn't bleed out of the sides. So I got to figure out what to do there. Maybe I'll put some kind of caulk around it and see if that works and stop the light from coming out. That'll give more light in the building and stuff. So I'm going to try that next. If we bring up this, and I bring up this one big, down here is the buildings that I put the wax paper in. You can see the windows are all light up, but you can see the bleeding right there. There's a little bleeding out of that building, some on the rooftop. This one here on the rooftop, on that rooftop, some bleeding there on the rooftop of this one too. So I'm thinking about putting some, maybe some caulk along there and do that. The buildings up here, I started taking them down, and I remembered I had clear resin black in there. Hey Chris, welcome. How you doing? So I didn't have to do those buildings. I got one building back in here. You can't see it because of the layer. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to keep my face warm from the cold. That's all. But I'll shave on the weekends. I shave usually. So, and that building there, I got a little bleeding out of it, and I didn't put no glass in that, so I had to take that down and put some wax paper on that. And it's just regular wax paper. So you need this one level of wax paper. I think it made the windows look a lot better on these buildings down here. Didn't have anything in them, and I just got to figure out how to cover that bleeding out stuff. I think some caulking will take care of that. Just a little dab and with a finger and go up the side of it and close that out. So yeah, just hit that like button, everyone. It doesn't cost anything, free of charge. The only thing free in this world. So let me bring this picture down. And one of my pumps went down. I had to replace a motor in it. And I did that today and got that out of the way. And then I added a light to my park ranger station. That's up on my 5th level. That's here. No, that's here. And if we run the camera, no, not this one. Which one is it? Ashpool West. This guy. This guy here. This is my park ranger tower right here. and I put a light up in there, so that has light now. It didn't have a light in it before, so I did that today. Didn't take long. Just had to solder a resistor on one of the wires, and the LED is a 5 millimeter LED. Drilled the hole, pushed it up inside there, and connected it to the bus line I have running around for accessories like lights and stuff. And it comes on, boom, and that took care of that. So that was one thing I did today. And yeah, thanks, Bob. Yeah, so they're all lit up and stuff like that. So um, now I got the lights on in certain buildings, and other buildings that most of my buildings are all lit up. Houses and buildings. Um, some buildings are lit up by an LED with a resistor on it, and it's connected to that bus line that comes on automatically every night. Some of the lights are Woodland Scenics Just Plug It lights. I have them in a lot of places. And the lights, and then you have an extender, and then you can put another 4 lights on it and stuff like that. I got it around the layout with just plug lights. And then I have lights lit up when the DCC system comes on. That's a DCC Concepts Mimic board, and you can have so many lights connected to that. And then those are an address, and I can put that in my JMRI table, and I can tell them when those lights are on and off too. So many different ways to have my lights lit up and stuff like that. So a couple of different ways here and there. So if I need to put a light in the building, I can add it in multiple ways. I think the Woodland Scenics Just Plug It lights, I still have a couple open ports on them if I ever get another light. And then some of the other lights I have are with the billboard system. I got fluorescent lamps for the train station. I haven't put them back in yet. I had a problem with them. I had to get replacements, and I just haven't got around to doing it. It's going to take a lot of work to get that back up in there. So one day when I don't have anything else to do, I'll put them in. So that's what was going on. When I was working on the backdrop buildings, I thought about the other lights and some of the other buildings. So I just decided to start doing that and getting that done and out of the way. So I did that. And then I got the chickens all working. And some of you saw the video. If you didn't, then you can go look at it. The board that I have in there, I showed that before. That has a SD card in it, and got chicken sounds. And then they were looping around too quick in the program. You know, it would. I did a voice overlay in the MP3 file of myself, and then I would be hearing that like every 10 minutes or something. So I didn't get a long enough file. And then Jim Tedesco told me he had a file that was 8 hours long. So I said, okay. So Jim sent me that file, and then I edited that file, and it was all this chickens. So every so many minutes, I inserted another MP3 file into that MP3 file with cows mooing. So you'll hear like every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes um, a cow mooing, and then it'll go back to the chickens and everything. So, um, and then the volume was so loud, I could hear it outside. So I turned the volume down a lot. And you guys might be able to hear it. It's playing now. I can hear it in here, and you might be able to hear it in the background. I don't know. But it's a lot lower than what it was. And every once in a while, the rooster crows, and that wakes you up when the rooster goes and stuff like that. So what's good about it is yeah, you only hear chicken. Yeah, that's it. That's all you hear right now. It's chickens clucking, right? And the chickens, um, this is the second one of these I got. This one wasn't working before, and the chickens weren't rotating. See, let me make myself bigger. Add to the stage. Do this. Okay. This is what makes the chickens move around. And those silver things are magnets. Okay. And then the chickens are laying on this plate. And there's um, little circles, and that's where the chickens go. Okay. Well, this is the original one I had. And all the chickens on here, after running around a while, they would all bunch up into one big cluster because they have magnets on them. So they would all collect. And they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to stay in their position, and they're not. So I emailed the people that I bought this from, and then I emailed the support of the guys that made this. Okay, and they both got back to me, and we're working out something to get this, because these are warranted for 2 years, and it's been less than 2 years that I've had this. Okay, so I'm working out something with them to try and get this one replaced. Then this will be my second one. I'll put this one on the lower farm, which is on the lower level. Then it'd be easier to see if somebody walks in, they can see the chickens pecking instead of way up high. So, because what happened was this wasn't working, and this thing spins around when you put power on it, right? Well, what happened was that part there was pushed down too tightly on this, and it wouldn't make this spin. So when I took it apart, I brought it down to the workbench here, and then I tested the two wires, and sure enough, then this thing spun around. So this one works, but the only problem is when I put the chickens on here, they stick on here, and when they spin around for a little while, they all gather up, so they don't stay apart. So it'll look like they were having a big hen fight or something. But that's not what I want. I want to see the chickens pecking and everything. Now, I would show you them on the screen now on the video, but they're so small you can't see them moving. So it's not worth showing you that. I did it in the video, so you'll have to look at the video. What sound does Sasquatch make? That's a good question, Bob. I'm sure you can find that on the internet somewhere. Yeah, Dwight, you always got to check your spam mail. If you don't receive emails from a certain person sometimes, it will go into your spam mail or your junk mail folder, whichever one that is. So you always got to look in there. Now, I get a lot of emails in my inbox, and if I don't like what I see, it's not from somebody I know, or it's somebody soliciting something, which usually is. I right click on it and I mark it as junk. So then the next time that email address comes into my email client on my computer, it goes to the junk folder automatically. And then once a week, I go in and review all the junk mails and I review all the spam mails. Nothing I want, I delete them all and then I start over again. So, yeah, we're getting there, JD. So, it's so that's what's going on with the chickens, and we at least when I got the new chickens came in, they finally made it here, um, and it was a surprise. I opened up my mailbox and the box was in there, and I didn't know it was coming because they didn't put no tracking on it because they shipped it out some other carrier that I never heard of before, and they don't have tracking information, and that was cheaper way of shipping it. So um, it took a little over a week to get here, so that wasn't too bad. So at least it wasn't the post office, right? Um, last week I ordered um, some number two screws, are real small, but in different lengths. And that's what I needed to screw the trucks onto the cars. After I put in the file that Dave sent me, that uh, washer device thing that I 3D printed, it made it the screw needed to be a little longer after you put washers underneath the truck to put into the body. So I needed longer screws. So I ordered a bag, or I ordered a pack of number two screws, and they come in different lengths. And so Amazon shipped it out, and then they said they were transferring it to the post office. I said, "Oh God, here we go." So I got the tracking number of the post office, put it in my phone app, and it was in Pennsylvania somewhere, and it was supposed to be here that day. Well, within an hour of me seeing that last status of in Pennsylvania, that was out for delivery. So somebody did something really quick, which was amazing, and it came that day. Just like Amazon said, it was going to be here on Monday, and it was here Monday. So even though the post office system, uh, when they get a thing from Amazon, it doesn't check well. No, I never ate spam. That stuff is terrible. I smelled it once and I said, nope, not for me. So, um, so I've been running the trains as I go, and I got the lower level. I got them all running, but I had a lot of problems uh, with the trains on the lower level. And what I did was, yeah, mailbox maintenance is a pain, but necessary. That's right. Um, some people don't have an email client on their computer. They use a web browser and they go to Gmail and they go to whatever other mail they might have, website, and those are even more complicated to maintain. If you have an email client, you can create rules so that when an email comes in, it goes into a folder. I have all kinds of folders on my email client and emails come in from certain people and they go into their folder automatically and stuff like that. So it makes it easier if you have an email client on your computer. You can do a lot more things than you can on the browser. So there's a free program out there that I use now. It's called what is this thing called? Help about. It's called Thunderbird. It's a free download, and you can go out on the web, search for Thunderbird, and download that client, install it. And then all you have to do is add your email account in there, and boom, all your emails will come into your email client. It's a free program. It works very well. Anybody need any help with it, you can contact me. I'll be glad to help you set it up. So not a big deal. So one of the trains, two of the trains on the lower level have that track cleaning guy's track cleaning car. And my very first layout is has elevations on it, and it goes around and it goes over a crossing section and loops around, goes under the tunnel again, comes out again, and it's kind of complicated, but not that complicated. The other layout is just an oval, and it goes around and around. So that track cleaning car ran nice. I put it right behind the engines and let the engine pull it. On the other track, the one that goes around and around and across and everything, I had that at the back of the train, and that was causing derailments because that car is heavy and it drags because of the pads on the track. So I moved it to the front of the train, and that worked. And then I was still having cars coming off the track. So I had to take the cars off, loosen up the screw, get the wheels one tighter than the other, all that kind of stuff. And then I found that the two 3D printed cars that I had made, they would not stay on the track no matter what I tried to do. So I took them out, and yeah. So I took them out and I ordered two replacements from eBay, and both of them were shipped today already. I ordered them this afternoon and they were shipped already. So they're on their way. So I'll replace them two cars with those. And what happened was on the body of the car, it had a little the screw threads for the truck extended out from the bottom, and then that snapped off. So I tried to mount them otherwise, and they still were popping the rails and everything. So I just said, the heck with it, I'll take them out. And yeah, you're a Thunderbird user, Bob. Good. Yeah, the program works very well. And also, I use Open Office. That's Word, Excel, etc. So I don't have to purchase the Office suite. I have Open Office, which is another free program that you can download and use to make Word documents and spreadsheets. It imports all of the Excel and everything. Yes. Yeah, Gmail on the website, they don't allow you to forward mail. There's too many scammers taking advantage of that functionality. and that's why they turned it off. Now, in Thunderbird, if you get an email, say I got an email from Bob, I can say when bob@gmail.com comes in, I can then forward it to Dwight at dwight.gmail.com. You can forward things, and the rules in Thunderbird allow you to do a lot of different things. So that's the good thing about that. So, I was talking about the hopper cars and how they failed. So, when I was running the track cleaning car on my first part of my layout, one of the as the track cleaning car was being pulled around in the tunnel, it popped a wheel somewhere in there. It hit something, or I don't know. So I have to leave that to. I was working in that tunnel. The last couple of days, I've been painting the inside of that tunnel. It's a long and tedious thing to get that inside painted, and I got to be real careful that I don't drop any paint on the track that's inside there, because I'm painting it all black inside there. And that was because of the camera that I had when I went in there. It blanked out a white screen, and that's because the whole thing inside there is all white. Well, I got most of it black. There's a couple areas that I have long arms, but I can't reach it. So I got to figure out how I'm going to get those walls painted. I was using a paintbrush, and I had a quart of black paint I bought at Home Depot. I was going to spray paint it before. I thought about spray painting it inside there, but I said that just gets all over the place, and that'll get all over the track, and I'm not going to tape my track in there. It's almost impossible to do that. There's walls inside there where the track goes through, and for tunnels and everything. And the outside, I was able to pull that foam off, and I was able to paint that easy enough. It curved around, so I put that back on, and I got that all painted and everything. Yeah, now I'm not a fan of Google products at all, Bob. I've heard too many bad things about that stuff, and Google looks at your documents and stuff, and they scan everything. They scan your spreadsheets. I don't have anything up on Google. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I'd rather have stuff on my computer. I know where it is. That's it. So even the Gmail, the Google phones and all that stuff. Gotta be careful. They snoop and look at everything of yours. So, but anyway, that's enough about Gmail. So anyway, as that track cleaning car was coming out of the tunnel, there's a turnout there, and it had no problem going over that turnout. But then right after that turnout, there's a Pico three-way turnout. And one way goes into my industry, and the other one goes to a siding that runs along the main line. And it wouldn't go over that three-way at all. I even took the cars off the track. I disconnected the cars behind the track cleaning car, and I disconnected it from the engines, and I tried to run it through there, and it won't go. It just jumps the rails. So I am now rethinking that area, and I might put in 2 number 4 turnouts to replace the three-way. if I do that, I'm going to lose some of the siding track space. But if I can move the first turnout back a little bit, then put the two number fours back to back, one's going to be a right hand, the other one's going to be a left hand, then I would still have the length of track. So I got to revisit that area. So the track clean car would not go through that three-way. I don't know why. It's just crazy. So, so speaking of the track cleaning guy, I called him the other day, and I was talking to him about things and stuff. And I 3D printed a couple of track cleaning cars, and I had the holes put in. Jim Tedesco helped me align the holes and get them in the right place. And they're for the subway system. And I haven't run that subway system in a while. I got to get up there and do that, but I'm trying to get the other trains running. And what I needed from him was he has the spring parts that he puts in his frames and stuff in a separate kit. And I was telling him also that I had a passenger train, and he was asking me if I had an F7 engine running, and I said no, I had a scale train GP18 running it, and I have another GP18 dummy engine, and I was hoping he could bore out the holes in it to make that work. So he's sending me the parts for the two track cleaning cars for the subway system. He says, since I'm such a good customer, he's sending them to me for free. And I think he's going to send me the F7 frame. So, because I told him I had a couple of F7s up in the on my shelf out there, and I can probably use one of those shells. And I do have an F7 up in my yard, and if that's the case, I can run the F7s on the passenger train, and then I can use that GP18 for something else or something. So. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Bob. You can like I say, there's a couple of sites out there where they have free sound files. And not the one about YouTube one. That one you have to pay for. But these are actually free, and you can select by different categories and all that kind of stuff. If you want the link, email me, and I'll be glad to send you a link to it. When you did Gmail, stop getting forward email. I got some today. Yeah, so that's what's been going on around here. Tomorrow I'm going to run the trains again, and I've been changing the speeds on the trains, and I think when I have them all automated, which I do, and in the mini panel, and when I was running them originally, I was running them at a higher speed step, and that was because I thought I needed to. But the one train, the first train, I was going speed step 15 in that train because of the incline, and it wasn't making it up the incline. So I can run that at speed step 5 now, and that makes it up the incline and over the bridge and into the tunnel without any hesitation. So I'm going to slow down you hear them chickens? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Sometimes they get louder than other. It's just the file. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It's a lot better. Trust me. Before I see that board has a little pod on it that you can dial, and that's the volume control. And that thing was turned all the way up high because when I first put my files on the SD card, I could barely hear them. So I turned it up loud. Then when I showed you guys the card and how it sounded in the one video, it was really loud because I didn't change the volume in it. And the software I use, WavePad Mixer, it allows me to modify the MP3 file and make it a bigger bandwidth, which makes it louder. So I can take a file, an MP3 file that's real thin and that's very low, and I can take and highlight the whole wave file and then change the width of the bandwidth and then it'll play louder. So I did that on the file so that so you could hear them, and then I just turned the volume down on that device. So it's one step below being off right now, and that's very tolerable when you're here in the house. The car that I have on the trains, you put the magnet on and that activates, and that's the pig squealing. And when the trains are on, you can hear that car all over the place. So that's loud. But the sound cars that have the track clickety clack of the track going, the cars going down the track, I can hear them when they go right by me, but I can hear them in various spots if I'm listening for it. I need to figure out a way to get them louder. And I think I'm set that they're a decoder inside the boxcar, and the speakers in there with a baffle on it. So it should be louder, but I got to figure out how to do that because somebody just did a video of the squealer device, and that's a similar thing to the clickety clack, but the squealer, they're like $80 a piece for those squealers, and you only have that sound for that particular spot. That's why I didn't go with the squealers. Back in the day when I was setting up the track, I could have put in the squealers, no big deal. But I said, I'll get the sound car, and that's constantly, yeah, that's right. Yep, that's the guy. Ian, you got it. He was the one that just did a video on it. And so this way in the sound car, it's constantly going with your train all the way around. So it's making and the engines are making the clickety clack sound too, as they're set up. Because the soundtracks decoders, you can turn on the clickety clack, and it based on the number of trucks you have on your wheel sets. They have the ones for the 2 wheels and the 3-wheel trucks, and you set the CV setting for which truck you have, and it'll know, and that's how it sets up the clickety clack. And so you can hear it as it's going down. And then the sound car, will consist with your engine automatically, and then it takes the CV settings out of the engine and puts it into the decoder into the sound card. But I need to figure out a way to get that sound a little louder. I'll talk to Soundtracks about it and see what they have to say. Because the DDE, what I have set up in my engines now, that sounds great. As they're working and they start working harder, that you can hear it in the engines, and that works really good. Yeah, you have a B&O caboose that does the clickety clack. That's cool. What's in that caboose? Is it a sound card or a homemade device that you put in? See, if you have a Soundtracks decoder, there's a few CV settings in the decoder that'll turn on the clickety clack, and when you run it on the workbench here, you can hear the clickety clack in the engine and everything. But with all the engines that I have running, it's hard to hear that going around. So, and some of them, okay, yeah, Soundtracks, yeah. So that's good. Yep. And so that's what does it. And the speakers, maybe the speakers aren't good. Maybe I'll talk to Scale Trains guy and see if I can get a couple of his speakers and put in there, and that'll make a big difference. I guarantee it. I have the big oval speakers in those cars because there's plenty of room to put them in, but the sound out of it isn't that great. So we'll see. Oh, these people keep sending me messages. They want to give me money. Yeah, right. So it's funny. Like I comment on a lot of the stuff on Facebook. You know, you see all this stuff on Facebook of political baloney and stuff is going on, and I put my 2 cents in there, and then I get, oh, you want a prize? You can get this and this and that. I said, yeah, okay, sure, and I just delete the comment. I just delete their. They send me a message in Facebook Messenger, and I don't know who these people are. If they want to give me money, then mail me a check in the mail, and then I'll see if I can cash it. But you're not getting any account information to put any money in my accounts. So it's just funny with the stuff going on and everything. Yeah, the other day, our great new governor is creating an online application so that people can let everybody know where the ICE agents are because they're in our state right now. And she's upset about this. She don't want them here. And that's just too bad. That's the reason why she's upset, because they're the ones that got her in the office. So that's the whole problem. So we'll see what happens. There's always some crazy things going on with that sort of stuff. So, yeah, so like I say, tomorrow I'll start running the train again in there, and the automation. I got to go in with my power cab and change the mini panel settings to change the speed step speeds, because in the mini panel I go in there and I set a routine up, and I have buttons on my panel there, and I push the button, and then that starts the routine. And the routine then changes the LED from red to green. And then that means the application is running. The routine is running. So I didn't see anybody leave yet. Dwight, he's still here. Maybe he's working on his drums. You see his video today, Dwight, of his drums that he was working on? He's going to use them to hold up his layout. That's going to be an interesting project. I just used on my lower level, I used on two sections of my lower level, I used plastic horses. And they weren't really high, which is what I wanted. I wanted a 30-some inch height. It comes up to my waist, so I can lean over. I can reach over and get to the inside. So the 4x8, it's hard. It's hard to get all the way across. I can reach it, but with all the other stuff on the layout, it's hard to lay down and stretch over all the way. So, but the other one is only 30 inches, and that I can reach all the way back and get to where I need to get. So, and then all the rest of the layouts is just tacked onto the wall, a 1x, and then I put the plywood on top of the 1x and connected them all together with 1xs and supports. And I have a leg on the one end that I made out of wood. And then the upper levels are just tacked onto the wall, 1xs, and then the plywood, and the same thing all the way around. Stuff like that. That includes the top level too, all done with wood and 1xs to do that. So, and it's up there, and I can lean on it, and I don't put a lot of pressure on it, but I lean on it. Then I had chains, a thin chain that I put on the layout, screwed into the layout, and then screwed into the ceiling. Forwarding is not the right word. Well, wait a minute now. No, you can forward an email. You can click on the email you got, and then you have a couple options: reply to all, or forward. Then you can forward. You just put a valid email address in there, and you forwarded the email. You can do that on any email system. No one can sign it. That's right, JD and Dwight. Something I can get through the bug hole. What's the bug hole? BUNG. Is that your doorway? Oh, you mean your money hole? Well, you need 18 of them, right? You have the truck to move them around with yet, Bob? Did you get that yet? They're probably, yeah, with all the stuff in them, they probably weigh. Well, he said they had foam in them, so they can't weigh that much. I'm going to guess around 25, maybe 30 pounds. Yeah, right. If you have a concrete floor, the drums are good. You ain't gonna damage the floor with concrete drums. Well, it depends on where it is, Bob. if you're doing a basement layout, you could use drums in the basement, but it'd be hard to get them down there unless you had one of those um, doors, those bulk doors that open up and then you have steps to go out to the outside to get into the basement. Oh, no. Well, you have to get it approved by the CEO, right? Well, I went the cheap way when I got the plastic horses. They were inexpensive. Got them at Home Depot. I have four of them, and for a 4x8, two of them worked well. And I put a board? No, I didn't put nothing on it. I just put the board on top of the horses. Oh, what I did do when the first layout was laid out, I put these pads on underneath the horses, and that way I could slide the thing in and out. Oh, I know what I did. I screwed the wood, the plywood onto the horses, right through the plastic. I did a couple of wood screws, and that's not going anywhere. So that's what I did. That's what you should do, Bob. When you put that wood frame on top, you're just going to lay it on top of those barrels, right? You're not going to attach that to them anyhow. I'd be afraid if I bumped into that, it would slide off of that, the drum a little bit. You got to anchor that frame to that drum somehow. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Maybe you can 3D print something that'll go on top of the rim, where the drum goes, the rim around, and then have a couple screws and screw that onto the wood, and that'll keep it from moving, maybe. Why don't you buy those long white folding tables? Well, I have a white folding table. That's my workbench in the train room, but that's only 5 feet long. They're not long. You can get real long ones, but no. Hey, Russ, welcome. Hope you're doing well. So let me see. What else do I have to tell you? Let's see. Did I talk about all this stuff? Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Russ saying hello to everybody, and everybody saying hello to Russ. Awesome. So next Wednesday when I'm on, I'll see if my razor works. I don't use a razor. I use a blade, and I shave with a blade. So I'll see if I can get that out and be clean shaven next week. So Dwight, did I miss your Wednesday show video, or didn't you put one up today? I guess he didn't put one up. I try to keep tabs on everybody, but it's hard sometimes. I didn't do one. That's what I thought. And that's what I was saying, Bob. Yeah, I think you have to. Because if you're going to have people coming in to look at your layout or do operations on your layout or whatever, you know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to bump into it at one time. And if it's not attached to that, it could move. Our fall spring starts tomorrow, 70s for the next week. Really? 70s? I would love to see 70s. We're not going to see 70s until May here. We got 6 more weeks of winter. So that puts us all the way to the end of March. And spring starts in March, right? So it's not going to be spring. No, not here. We're supposed to go down to minus 15 on the weekends here in New Jersey. That's what they're calling for. Can I drill into the top of the drum with a sheet metal screw? Yeah, that would be another way to do it. Then your framework should have a flat piece going across the top of that drum. That because you're gonna have the way you had your design is the pieces are this way. You need a real long screw to go through to get that to go into the drum. So if you put a flat piece, a 1x on that, that might elevate it just a little bit more. But then you can hook that to the wood. You know, you can screw that to the wood on both ends, and then you could put holes in the flat piece, and then they can go into the tank. That's what I would do if I was going on top of something. I always screw it to the top. Well, you can use rivet nuts and then use bolts. The only problem is I don't think he wants to take the lids off, Mike. Unless the lids are off, and then you would have to know where the wood was going to be, and then you could put the nuts, the screw through, and then put the nut on the top through the wood. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, rubber washer. Rivet nuts need a hole drilled, then they get expanded. Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't think you're going to have much sound from that anyway. because you're going to have foam on top of the wood, right? You're going to put foam, the pink foam on top of that, and then you'll lay your track on top of that. So the foam really does a good job of deadening the sound just by itself. That's what I've seen. Russ, I've been to Medford, Oregon. You near there? I used to work for a company that we had a manufacturing place out in Medford, Oregon. There you go, JD. So that was many, many, many years ago. Medford is Southern Oregon. Okay. That was back in the 1980s. I was there. So Tom, would you use a small piece of wood to turn the right angle, not metal bracket? Yes, I would use wood because then you can attach that to the barrel. A metal bracket, that's harder to drill through to attach it to the barrel. Wood is easier to attach to things than metal is. That's my opinion. Well, Dwight, why are you watching YouTube on your phone? That's for watching shorts, not streams or videos from. I never watched a video on my phone. Never. Not even a short. I get up in the morning, I check my emails, I go over, bring up my YouTube, and I watch videos. I watch shorts, I watch videos, whatever people post, and it's all done on the computer. Bigger screen, easier to see, and I can do other things while I'm watching those videos. Okay, I see what you're saying, Bob. See. Hey, James, welcome. How you doing? Yeah. Okay. Why can't you comment on your laptop, Jay? Because I can comment on my computer or on my phone. You hear the chickens, Russ? There you go. Yeah, they're in the background. Yep. Yeah, they come on automatically at around 5 o'clock in the evening, and then they go off at 11 o'clock at night. All automatically. I can only comment on my phone for Mom and Ray shorts. It doesn't work. I can't comment on my phone for only Mom and Ray shorts. It doesn't work. I don't understand that either, James or Dwight. That doesn't make sense. If I go on a video or a short on my phone, I can comment on my phone. I can comment on my computer on anything. Video, short, stream.
Using Echo to control video
computer stuff. It doesn't give me a space. If someone has made a comment, I can piggy off of that comment. On your laptop? No. Are you in full screen mode, maybe, JD? Because when you bring up YouTube, you should have the comments on the right-hand side. Once you click on the comment button, then the comments should come up. Now, if you're in full screen mode, I can understand why you don't see the comments. My cell phone is a Samsung blah blah phone, so I can watch a video on. Yeah, right. It's a lot easier to watch shorts on a phone, but the full videos, they're not as nice on a phone. I don't care what kind of phone you have. They don't look good. Yeah, I may need some Loctite or adhesive to provide extra security where a metal bracket meets the metal from the top. Good thinking, Tom. Yeah, that's what I would put on. That way it would, then you wouldn't have metal to metal. Yes, on your laptop. I said that, Dwight. That's what I said. He might be in full screen mode. That's why he can't see it. Now, Dwight, you're saying you can't comment on Tammy and Ray's videos, or you can comment on Tammy and Ray? Yeah, I can do the same thing, Russ. Yeah, the ads are different, right? That's why YouTube is pushing the shorts, because you get more views on it and they can get more ads on. Now I'm on my other phone and the picture is normal. Yeah, we're supposed to get another dusting of snow here this weekend. You're not in full screen. What's your laptop's screen size, JD? You know, it goes from corner to corner. What's that length? It's not, this. It's from one corner to the other corner is the size. Now we're going to send it up to you, James. Matter of fact, I just put a load of my snow in a dump truck and I gave them your address. You're going to dump it off in your front yard. How's that sound? On Tammy's shorts. Okay. Dwight, I'm going to look for one of Tammy's shorts after this stream's over, and I'm going to see if I can comment on it. Yeah, diagonal, right. I know what you meant, Dwight. Yeah. Well, some places aren't even shoveled out yet. They're still trying to figure out. Anybody see the videos of New York City? It's a mess in there. Yeah, you commented on my chicken short off of the phone, right? That's what you should be able to do. And that's if you can do that on your phone, you should be able to do it on anybody's video, Dwight. Unless she turned off comments on that particular video. Because I always use my computer when I go and watch videos and shorts and everything. And rarely do I look on my phone for people that have commented on my video, and I'll wait until a couple people commented, and then I'll come in here and go on YouTube Studio and comment, reply back to their comments. And once in a while, I'll get a late comment late in the evening, and then I'll go on my phone, and then I go into YouTube Studio on my phone, and then I go and I comment on my phone there. So I can comment anywhere, any place, anytime. I don't have no problem commenting. Now, one day I couldn't comment on Dwight's video because he had comments turned off. Now, he didn't turn them off, but then I sent him a video of a guy who showed how to fix that part, and then he fixed it. So my 3D kit, my second 3D kit, the Harbor push tug in the second prototype looking for alignment. Okay. When I watch a video, I can comment on it, and only happens in shorts that I have to comment from my phone. That's weird. That's very strange. Because shorts are even a smaller screen, so you should be able to see a lot of things. I don't know what if there. I don't think there's a setting on your phone. I don't get it. Now I don't turn off comments on any of my videos, so anybody wants to comment on a video, they can. If you're having trouble commenting on a video, I would like to know. Email me, message me, call me, anyway, then I will look into it. But I haven't had anybody complain that they couldn't comment on my video. And I've been able to comment on everybody else's video except for Dwight's one time. I just commented on Liz Short off my phone. Very, very good. See? Go to Tammy's video that you couldn't comment on before and see if you can comment on that again, Dwight. Or tell me what video that is, and I'll look at it and see if I can comment on it. You see other people have made a comment on Tammy Short, but I can't open it on my phone. Okay, I'll look. That doesn't make any sense, Dwight. That doesn't make any sense at all. You just commented on Liz's. You commented on mine off of your phone. Sometimes on the videos or on the shorts, you have to click the comments button. Like, there's sometimes I want to put a comment on the video and they have it turned off. and you can't get to it at all. That's the only time I've seen that I couldn't comment on the videos because comments were turned off. And they don't want to comment because they know what they'll get. They'll get a lot of negativeness, and they don't want that. So, but yeah, you two have a similar problem, JD. I would have to see what both of you are doing, and then I could maybe help you. Yeah, I bet it is. Well, I have about 16, I got 16 inches in on the grass of snow. Hasn't melted an inch. And out on the end of the driveway, it's about 3 feet high. But I can see when I back out of my driveway because I didn't pile it up there. I piled it into the grass instead of piling it up and making it big. And the snow plows didn't come and close it because I wait until the snow plows go through, and then I wait until they come back the second time when I do the end of the driveway first. And if they're coming through and I'm out there shoveling, they will not put the snow there. So they're good about that. One time a guy came in with the snowplow and then he put the bucket on the other side of my driveway and pulled the snow out into the street for me, and then he pushed it away because it was high like this was. But I told you, my son came over with the snowblower, and that's how I got my driveway clean. So my driveway is clean down to the blacktop. Yeah. Well, StreamYard is good. I like it. It's easy to use, and everybody complains about the number of cameras. You only get one camera on the free version, and you get a whopping whole 2 cameras on the paid version. So I decided not to pay for StreamYard. And the amount of I do 4 streams a month. You need a coop for your chickens, Thomas. I do have a chicken coop there on the layout. Stop sharing. Share screen. Here, let me show you. Okay. The chicken coop is right there for the chicken. You have 2 girls there carrying feed for the chickens. Well, I don't want to learn anything new. This like one of the other guys was going to Rumble, and I tried Rumble and it didn't work to my liking at all. So that's okay, Russ. But I did have a chicken coop there, and I think I gotta get some more chickens and have them coming out of the chicken coop maybe. I gotta find an STL file for chickens, see if I can print them. Yeah, Rumble is clunky, yes. Now, yeah, allow guests. See, that's the beauty of StreamYard. I can have 6 guests up here if I wanted to. So, um, it's pretty good how that works. So that's why I stick with StreamYard. Doesn't give me any problem. Like Jim Tedesco, he uses OBS, and he's always losing the overlay for the comments and everything. And I can't talk him into going to StreamYard, and he likes OBS. I tried to use OBS to stream, and OBS is a lot of work. And to get the cameras to work on OBS is a lot of work because the cameras have to have RTSP support in them, which is what OBS needs to allow the camera to stream on OBS. So like I was saying, StreamYard only allows you 2 cameras for the paid version. So that's why I got the software package. That's why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cameras on my stream. Okay. Now they're all small cameras, of course, and one bigger one. But if I want to spotlight something, I just click on whatever camera I want and point it out to you. Okay. If I added more cameras, which I can to this, then the big screen would get smaller. Yeah, see, that's no, I don't pay for StreamYard. No. I just have free version of StreamYard. James, only a free version. Yeah, see, that's the same thing with OBS, Bob. OBS, you can have guests, but you have to put an add-on program onto OBS to even get it to think about having guests. So it's a pain in the neck. So when I first got on YouTube and I first started doing live streams, the guys told me to use StreamYard. That's what I use, and it works. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's the way I say it. You know. Now, if StreamYard comes out and says, "Hey, we're not going to have free StreamYard anymore," then I'll have to think about something else. Yeah, why reinvent the wheel? Right, exactly, Russ. That's right, Bob. Yeah, it's well, I had the chickens pecking, then they stopped working. I bought a new unit. It didn't work when I first got it. I pulled off the top and then I saw the motor running. Then I just laid it on there and now it runs around. So the trick is that can't be pushed down all the way. So I got them working because I got the sounds working. So I needed to have the chickens pecking to show the video of the chicken farm with the chickens pecking and the sounds. So more realistic that way. So I do have another idea with my for my park scene where I have all the what software package? What software package are you talking about? Dwight, James. Yeah, that's right, Bob. It's hard to stream. Like I prepare in the morning for my stream at night. I just write down things, and as I'm going through the day, if I think it's something I want to talk about, I'll write it down on the paper. Cameras. Oh, I'm using IP camera. It comes with my cameras that I have, and all my cameras are PoE cameras. They're connected by Ethernet cables, and they're powered over Ethernet. There you go, Bob. So that's the software I use. See right here, it says up here, IP camera. That's the name of the software. So each camera I add onto here. And this is unique software to the cameras that I have. I didn't see where I can add any other brand of camera on there because in the tunnel that I'm painting, I have two UEFI cameras. They're Wi-Fi cameras in there. And I can look at them on my Echo device, which I have in the train room. I can just tell it to show those two cameras and they show up. Yeah, OBS is a big learning curve, yes. There you go. That's what it is. And that's what it does. You know, you have to have other guests on there. You need ways to make it easier for yourself to do that. Now, all I would have to do is post a link in here, and then anybody could come up if I wanted to have a guest. Very nice. March 21st. So that'll be good. So, okay, guys, I've been on here for an hour and a half now. That's over my hour limit, but that's okay. We got off on interaction, which is good. So this is what I like. So yes, we'll see. We'll see that. So I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for being my subscribers. I think everybody out there produces great videos. I watch every one of your videos. I comment on every video I watch. And I hope you do the same thing for me. And I appreciate everybody's coming in here tonight and spending some time with me. And I hope you have a great week. Don't forget to catch Jim Tedesco tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. He always has a good show. Thanks everybody for stopping in, and we'll catch you again next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Stay warm wherever you are, and we'll catch you all later. Take care.